Time for Twins Pod. It's going to be a damn good show. Yeah.
Between my junior and senior year of college, I was a White House intern.
What administration?
George Bush Sr.
George Bush.
You're a man of many hats.
It was before Monica Lewinsky made it popular. And
boy, did she ever.
And it was a really instructive. It was to me, because I'd always thought, yeah, I kind of like Washington and the whole thing, and I thought going to the White House was going to be this bastion of patriotic Americans. So it was a den of vipers. I mean, that was a Republican administration. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I wanted nothing to do with it. I ended up working for a congressman, Dana Rohrabacher, who'd been a speechwriter for Reagan for the second half of the year. And that was, my God, Washington is a swamp. Trump is right to call it a swamp.
Yeah. So you have no political aspirations at all, right?
No.
Yeah. Have you read, I looked at a lot of your interviews. People really want you to run for office.
Yeah, they be careful what they ask for.
Yeah. They're going to get a dose of reality.
No, look, I am, no.
Yeah.
No.
Like, you're well off your dad's business, Blackwater. What would you say your net worth is around?
A lot less than it was when I started.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't label yourself like a billionaire or anything like that, right?
Oh, my God.
No.
My God, no. You know what? No, if BW had continued on the trajectory, it was a very successful machine.
Right.
And we did that stuff well. And I was thinking beyond the Iraq or Afghanistan, the government security stuff, and I would have pivoted into making a much bigger training area.
Right.
To do like civilian disaster response for a refinery fire or a building that collapses or a train derailment, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I would have done, we built a big airfield, and I was going to provide another area for the Navy Air, right? This is the largest concentration of naval air forces in the world is right across the border in Norfolk, Oceania. A place for them to train. And then I would have done red air training because I was a pilot early on as a kid, so I always loved aviation. And would have brought in MiGs and Sukhois and Mirages, foreign aircraft, and flown them with hotshot American pilots against the Navy and the Air Force aircraft, which is now, again, we were right on the edge of when that would have come. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year contract, and we would have been ready for it. And then the last thing I would have done was contract firefighting, especially for wildland firefighting, because we had the business model of tens of thousands of really fit, brave men that could move to an objective and make something happen. We had helicopters, we had vehicles.
They really need that in California.
Exactly.
So many fun.
I'm going to get you guys some new chairs.
Yeah, that chair, just keep that shit down. Fucking Hillary Clinton fucking
Made in
military
China.
contracting chairs. Shit.
Hey, Eric, how do you feel about our current military? Because I'm not homophobic by any stretch of the imagination, but I love gay people. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I see men behaving like women in uniform, and
No,
I'm
they
like,
living their life as a woman,
yeah.
and then the military.
And I remember when I joined the military, you couldn't even join if you had flat feet. Right. It's not your willing.
And now they'll pay to cut your balls off.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
insane.
It's like not your. They did the decision for you to go in the military wasn't your willingness to serve. It was your if
Ability.
You were fit to ability.
Your ability to
capacity.
contribute to the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And right. So there's been a lowering of the
the
common
bar.
denominator, lowering that bar.
So now we have a lot of people that's, I guess they consider themselves transgender, join the military because they know they'll get their surgery that they need to affirm
It's
that.
absolute madness. But you know what's interesting? From a recruitment perspective, the one branch that has not had, it's the smallest, but they haven't had the recruiting fall off like the other services have, is the Marine Corps. Because what's the difference of their paradigm, right? Marines have always had good ads in my mind.
Yeah.
But what's different about it? maybe if you're good enough, you can be one of us.
Right.
Not join up and we're going to pay for college and you can sleep in and
Right.
pay for your surgery.
Right.
No, join up, be a warrior.
Right.
Join the ranks of the warriors that will stand on the wall and defend America. That's still the right paradigm for the entire military, not just the Marine Corps. We have a super bloated military that is,
Got a lot of fat you got to cut.
yes. So we have the same amount of flag officers, generals and admirals, actually more, than we even had in World War II, when we had 14 million men under arms. Now you have like 1.4. So we had 10 times as many in World War II, and we have more flag officers now. In an era of email, video conference, secure communications, where you should be able to run a very flat and fast operation, but it's super bloated, obese. And when you look at how many in the ranks even are, by measurement, obese, and they're still getting weighed for it, it's just wrong, right?
Right. They're giving
cut
them
and
waivers,
cut.
huh?
Oh yeah, and worse. So and again, why we didn't set out to make enemies as Blackwater, but when we can show up the military, when we can do airlift, and it takes us this much cost to do it, and this many people versus the Air Force doing it, or if we're organizing training to do X for the Army, in every case, we could do it cheaper and faster, just because the inherent organizational flexibility that we had as a private organization could always outmaneuver big and bloated. I'm not sitting here advocating that we need to privatize the military, not at all. But good leadership will cut a lot of the nonsense out, and you'll have a much better product. The tooth to tail ratio. If the purpose to be in Iraq was to train the local forces or to conduct combat operations, I would consider that tooth. All the other tail to support that, there was about 12 tail for one tooth. That's a crazy, crazy high figure.
Yeah. That's crazy high.
And now, and why that really matters is because you've had a massive step change in warfare because of drones. Not high drones flying overhead with high-tech voyeurism, no. But especially from the using an FPV drone, one of those old racing drones with the goggles, right, that they've adapted in Ukraine, and the Russians have as well. And you take a device about this big, and you can 3D print this with a frag sleeve, and you put a copper cone disc at the front, almost like a that you use for an explosive form penetrator, a shape charge, and you mount that under the drone. And now that drone's flying around at 120 kilometers, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, where the drone operator can look, find a vehicle, and fly it into the exact spot of vulnerability on the armor. And that drone cost $1,000, $1,500.
Wow.
So what that means, it's like going from an era of longbows and spears, not to the first muskets, but to like bolt action rifles.
Right.
That's because now you're putting long range precision weapons in the hands of every dude in your squad. I don't care how you're good. I don't care how good you are, sharpshooter or marksman at 300 or 500 meters. When a dude can fly a drone into your head from 15 kilometers away.
Right. I'm useless. You're dead.
And so all the hundreds of billions of dollars of inventory that the U.S. and all these other militaries are sitting on is very vulnerable.
Yeah, it's going to replace everything.
Yeah. And now the first strategic offset after World War II was nuclear weapons, right? So the U.S. had nuclear weapons first, and the Soviets stole it. They built up, and then it was a race of tonnage, like who could throw more nukes at each other. Then the U.S. said, precision strike, smart bombs. And that worked. And you saw that really in the 90-91 war, and then again really in 2002, 3, 4 in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now everybody has it. down to a 15-year-old kid in Ukraine who does this with a drone and goes out and kills a tank. Everybody has it. ISIS had it. And the U.S. military is not adapting. It is in grave danger.
And that's all coming from poor leadership.
Yeah, all military bureaucracy is slow. It's just inherently that way.
It's too big.
Look, even, when the Wright brothers...
Look, everybody, inflation is out of control, and this problem's only going to get worse. Can't have all your eggs in one basket, especially when you got people like Sleepy Joe holding the basket in the White House. That's why me and Kevin are always diversifying our assets. That's the kind of diversity, equity, and inclusion we like. Yeah. The value of silver, gold has been steadily rising, while the value of the American dollar has been falling. Because what? Inflation. Because our government sucks. Now, y'all, purplebar.com is changing the game, making it easy for all of us to protect our financial futures. Look how cool these gold and silver bars are. Patriotic engraving on there, too. Look real nice. The bars are perforated so they can easily break apart and can be conveniently exchanged if the dollar collapses. Go to purplebar.com and use promo code Hodgetwins and you get 5% off gold bars. And you get 10% off silver bars. Yeah.